Alrighty, guys, in today's video, we are going to go through some advanced Tinder strategies to seriously level up the quality and quantity of your Tinder matches. So let's get started. First and foremost, and a lot of guys go wrong here, you want to optimize your profile. So what does that mean? Fill out everything, make sure that you have a description that usually I advocate as a call to action. And the most important, which a lot of guys still don't get this for whatever reason, are high quality photos. So you want to use clear, well lit photos that showcase your personality. You can include a mix of solo shots, social photos, full body images, and so on. Now, when it comes to shirtless photos, I always say to be sure that they are candid and not necessarily mirror type selfies, because then that comes off a little try hard. The order of photos in your profile matters to a degree also. Usually for that, I recommend you just turn on that feature in Tinder that automatically selects the photos based on the best performance. Master the swipe. So avoid swiping right on every profile. A lot of guys mess this up too. What that essentially does is it'll just bury you in the algorithm. The application will know that you're probably a bit desperate and probably not that high of an option as compared to your competition on the app. Make sure that you have a left swipe bias. So swiping left more often can actually lead to the algorithm showing your profile to more users. Again, the way it works is that you want to swipe on people that are highly sought after, and those highly sought after people ideally match with you. That'll bump you up in the ELO score. Timing your swipes. So ideally, if you can, swipe during peak hours. It's usually evenings and weekends, and that's just because more users are active. You'll be able to match them in real time, open them in real time. And again, guys, the goal is to always get the girl off the app as fast as possible. Boost your visibility. Activate boosts during peak times for maximum visibility. Now you can pair this with recently updated photos or maybe just a refresh bio for even better results. Or for me, I'm always testing new variables too, just to try things out and see what works, what doesn't work. Leverage super likes. So, guys, with any dating app, you want to leverage all of the features within the app. And that's really with any app for that matter. For Instagram, too, they will reward you the more you use the features in the app and the more people engage with you on the app, because the goal from the app's perspective is to keep people on the app as long as possible. And in the case of Tinder, ideally paying as long as possible. Which brings us to the next point. Consider upgrading for all of the features. Some of the big ones I like are seeing who likes you, prioritizing the profile and others' feeds, and messaging before matching. That's actually on Tinder Platinum only. If you're on the fence, go ahead and give it a trial. You can do it by week, by month, by 3 months, by 6 months. I usually just upgrade to the Platinum at a 6-month basis because I want all of the features I can have access to. I actually did an experiment on this recently, and let's just say the results are as expected. I did considerably better after upgrading the app. Why? Because, again, the app rewards people who give it money. Perfecting your opening message. So start with something specific from their profile. That's a good starting point. I usually use canned opening messages that really quickly set the tone. Guys a lot of times say to stay away from the yes and no type questions, but I want yes and no questions because I do a lot of volume in terms of the matches I receive. I want to filter these girls out as fast as possible to truly determine who is interested in me and who just maybe wants a pen pal, wants an Instagram follower, maybe is not sure if she wants to date or not. She's just passing time. I want the F yes girls. So that's usually how I start my opener. And then I send it through a very quick sequence, usually less than 3 messages back and forth to get them off the app. That is by me giving them my Instagram and or WhatsApp to lead nurture on Instagram or set logistics if she goes straight to WhatsApp. Keeping conversations alive. So you want to match her energy, mirror the tone and energy of the person you're talking to, whether it's playful, serious, casual. Usually I start with a playful, kind of mysterious, maybe even sexualized type energy at times, and then I want to see if she matches me. If she's just a negative Nancy and is no, no, no to anything that I'm putting out there, then guess what? You have filtered yourself out of the running and I shall go out with someone else. What you also want to do is keep the conversation flowing. So don't be Mr. Too Cool for School. Oh, I'll wait 2 days to message her. Guess what's going to happen there? One, we don't live in the 1990s anymore. And two, you're going to get buried in her stack of matches, probably never to be heard from again. So be sure to keep the conversation flowing. Again, you want to get off the app as fast as possible. If she's responding quickly, respond to her quickly. For those who don't, usually I advocate going in a batch type format to where, okay, you have a few minutes free during your day, you open your Tinder and then you just batch through it. And I will do a video here shortly on exactly how to do that. Refining your swiping strategies. There's a couple things you can do here. You can reset your filters. So like things like age and distance. I typically stick to a younger age here close to my neighborhood, but I live in a major, massive city. So a lot of times I will maybe bump that threshold up for the age and or distance based on really what I'm feeling, what my match volume looks like. You also want to update your profile on a regular basis too. Be sure to refresh your photos, keep things fresh. This also includes your social profiles. You need to have Instagram for online dating. If you need more help on that and you haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel, reach out to me directly, and we'll get you started there. But you want to make sure that you are constantly refreshing your content, because when it comes to digital dating, you are a content marketer. That is the name of the game. Then another cool feature too is the geolocation service. So let's say you're bumped down in the ELO score. You can normally tell when this happens because when you open your Tinder, maybe the girls aren't as attractive as you're used to. Well, that's really cool. You can just set your geolocation to another major city where maybe you're a hot ticket commodity on the local dating market, bump yourself back up in the ELO score, and then go back to your local market. And you will see very quickly that all of a sudden, voila, there are girls you're attracted to in the top of your stack again. Now, here's some algorithm insights, and some of these are actually interesting to me. So, daily activity. You want to log in daily to maintain activity and show the algorithm that you're an active and engaged user. This can also improve your profile's visibility. Remember, from the perspective of the app creators, they want people that are on the app, paying the app, and engaged in the app. So, keep that in mind. Right swipe limit. Be aware of Tinder's swipe limits for free users. Overswiping can result in a temporary limit, so pace yourself to stay in the game. And also, guys, when you're doing the swipe limit on the free version, you don't want to exhaust all of your free swipes on girls that maybe you're not that interested in. That's also why I like upgrading, because then I can just swipe away and then we'll just see how the app responds. And usually in my case, it responds quite favorably. Experiment with messaging styles. So this is in the initial phases. If you don't already have your conversion scripts locked down, again, if you need help with that, just reach out to me directly and I'll go ahead and get you started there. But really, you want this streamlined and scalable. You don't want to spend a lot of time on these apps. You want to build in artificial friction. Execute the sequences so the girls filter themselves out, and then the ones that are most interested in you slide through to your DMs, to your WhatsApp, and then you just set the date and she shows up. So that's usually the way I advocate doing this. In the initial phases, you might want to play around with messaging styles until you really dial in what works for you in terms of a higher percentage of lead conversion. Now, when you do get her off the app, that you can do cool things like voice messages, emojis, which I recommend you limit. Direct versus indirect. Usually, I always go direct. Indirect doesn't make sense on dating apps. She knows why you're on the app. Obviously, you want to have a date with her. So just be bold. And if you're ever asking yourself, oh, should I err on the side of caution or on the side of being bold? Always go on the side of being bold. I've had multiple girls I've dated tell me that they like the fact that I just reach out. I know exactly what I want. I submit the offer. If she bites, then great. I move straight to setting logistics. There doesn't need to be any beating around the bush, especially on dating apps, because it is all kind of superficial. It's really based on, do you think I'm hot and do I think you're hot? And then if so, yes, we've already established there's attraction. Just move things forward. And this is actually where guys mess up the most. And we'll do a lot more videos on this topic too, because this is something I see time and time again. Social media linking. You obviously want to link your Instagram to provide more context and personality to your profile. And be mindful of what you share. You are creating a digital marketing brand. So you really need to curate your Instagram. And I always advocate leaving breadcrumbs, leaving clues. It's like a highlight reel of your life. So you want her to stumble across your Instagram, stumble intentionally because you set up these breadcrumbs for her to follow, and then her to come to her own inferences rather than you putting out a resume. Well, I'm a really good guy and I grew up in this area and I worked for this job and I make this much money and I drive this kind of car and I have this kind of dog. Let her play Miss Detective with her girlfriends, is usually how they do it. And then that will help build intrigue. But you definitely want to connect to your Instagram. And guys, we should all know this. You need to get her off the app as fast as possible. Don't linger. Keep the conversation going, but keep it going off the app. Then when it goes to WhatsApp or Instagram, the conversation goes again in real life. That is the ultimate goal. And again, you'll be surprised at how many girls tell me, oh my God, most guys on these apps simply don't get it. They just linger on and on and on. It's a conversation to nowhere. And the girl wants to meet up too. Now, if she doesn't want to meet up, you should be able to properly gauge that and then eliminate her from the running, which again, these are even more advanced strategies, which I can definitely help you with. Reach out to me directly or click the link below. We'll schedule an introductory consultation and we'll get you started. Now, the last point, you really want to be market specific. You want to know exactly what works and doesn't work in your market. So for example, I'm in Mexico City. So I know that if it's Friday or Saturday night between 8 and 10 p.m., if I want an Insta date or a girl that comes straight to the house, potentially, that is when they are online and more eager. Now, actually, there's usually more girls online Sunday evenings here as everyone's planning their week, or Monday morning as they're just getting their little Tinder dopamine hit before they go to work. But I've found that on Friday and Saturday night, again, where I live, between 8 and 10 p.m., that's when plans fall through. And if a girl is planning all day or maybe even all week that, hey, I'm going to go out, and then all of a sudden people flake on her, then she's on the app looking for an experience. So that's a great time to do Insta dates in my local market. I also know that anytime it starts raining, people just all of a sudden don't go out anymore. But again, maybe she's already getting ready. She's already gone to the spa. She's gotten her facial. She's gotten her nice little wax down there. And she wants to have some fun. But her friend group decided, hey, you know what? We're not going out after all. It's raining. The city's flooding. Not fun. Well, then you can catch her a lot of times either willing to come over in the moment or scheduling something for a later date because, again, there's nothing going on in her physical world. She's going to the online world, and here she is. And then also for me too, holiday weekends are great. That's when everyone's out of town. There's usually not much going on in terms of like conferences, events, parties, meetups, social gatherings, nightclubs, whatever. So she's more likely to just meet up for something chill with you. This is one I like to do often too, is just take some time off the app. For example, I'll be traveling here in a couple of days. I'm going to meet up with some old buddies. I might get on the app a little bit to see if there's anything going on in town with any girls that might be into me. But typically I cherish my time with my friends. I won't be on the app as often, and I will be in a different location, so I will not be in my local location. What happens here, usually if I take some time off the app and I get back on, then I have a nice big queue of matches. And in my next video, I'll show you exactly what that looks like because I combined it with this next tip, which is to upgrade to the premium version. So this was a test. I let Tinder expire and went to the basic version for a couple weeks. I literally went from 2 to 3 dozen matches a day to 2 to 3 matches a day when only swiping on the limited version because your swiping is also limited. So once I re-upgraded to platinum, took a few minutes to swipe, I noticed one, immediately more attractive women, and two, instant matches coming through even while I was still swiping. The name of the game when it comes to online dating, guys, is volume. So all of these little details, from the proper profile description, from the proper photos to the proper order of photos to the proper swiping strategy to proper opening messaging to getting her off the app to setting dates, all of these little things will compound to really increase your likelihood of being successful. And when you combine that with volume of girls that are potentially interested in dating you, then that is how you ultimately become the selector when it comes to online dating. I think for most guys, this is the goal as it pertains to online dating. Whether you want a girlfriend, whether you want a rotation, whether you want just a series of flings, it doesn't matter. But you need to learn how to generate volume and to move them along the process, because then this gives you options. Then you can actually select the girl that you want to go after because she's already been vetted. She's already been filtered. She's already gone through your structures and sequences to know that, okay, she is into you. Now you just take your pick. And I've been there for a while, guys. It's a fantastic place to be. Again, if you want more information on how to do so, just reach out to me personally. I'll get you started. You can click on the link below, get a call scheduled. If you haven't done so, subscribe, like, share, refer to any friends, ring that little notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. And until next time, I shall bid you farewell.